You are all conscripts, you served in the Russian army. Were you all transferred to reinforce the borders in the Kursk region, or what was it like? Yes, to reinforce the borders. We were thrown in to strengthen the borders, that's all. All of you? Yes. You weren't together? No, we're from different battalions. We had different base stations. But are you all from the Kursk region and they sent you there? What did they tell you and what's official? What was the reason? Reinforcing of the border, that's it. There was no talk about potentially some sort of offensive, a breakthrough? No. We were told about it on the 2nd of August. They said there would be a breakthrough on the 10th, but later they said it was fake information and that was it. Who said it was supposed to happen? The High Commander said so, I think. Well, our lieutenant told us. He said there could potentially be a breakthrough in your positions on the 10th? Yes, to Kursk. In general, in the Kursk direction, there was to be an offensive. But you stayed there. Weren't you going to be taken away? No. Didn't you ask about that? We asked why and what it was all for. Well, the conscripts have to be rotated. We were told, no, we can't. When they came in, we asked to leave again, approximately at noon. We told them we had to leave. I started talking about that night before. I said that we had to withdraw. On the night of August 4th, right? Yeah. He was telling our lieutenant to get out. Take people out in groups? Yes, in groups at least, but we had to leave. Eventually, he came to his senses and realized that we had to go only at 6 o'clock, at 6 p.m. When it was too late, the machinery was closing in on us. When it was already riding around the base station, and a couple of people almost got buried, well, that was only when he realized that we started to withdraw. What are your thoughts on this matter, since official sources said that conscripts should not fight, they should cover all these places of combat operations and should be located in a calm setting? Do you not have such combat training to defend yourselves? Yeah, sure, I don't know, most of us try to fool each other somehow. Probably they just told him one thing, that there were no conscripts, and in the end we were thrown in because there were no people. But when we watched the news, they said that there were conscripts. He doesn't know what's going on. What kind of conscripts? There shouldn't be any. If you just look at him, you see that he doesn't understand what happened and how it happened. Returning to the bigger picture, at this minute all the people, the Russian media and officials are just continuing, if not hiding, then at least covering what is happening in the Kursk region. There is no talk of any breakthrough. They still continue to talk about some sort of SRGs that have already been fought off. They're unknown. I don't know whether you have seen this news or not. Here you have it on TV as well, but whether they showed it, no. But in reality, yes, the media writes that it is an SRG, and the Defense Ministry also writes that it is an SRG. The only thing is that they also publish broken equipment, but in particular the videos are also old. This is such a narrative. Why do they not talk about it? Why are they throwing conscripts in Russia, as you said, to cover the holes when they promised not to do that? And why aren't people being told about it? Well, they don't talk about what is happening. After all, this is already Russian territory, this is not Ukraine, this is exactly the territory of Russia. Specifically about this, what they're trying to cover with that is people panic, because if people start to panic, there will be chaos, and there will be just such a global upheaval, and now in fact it is beginning. Most of the people who are conscripts now, all parents are worried because they do not know where their sons are. That's the first thing. Some of them didn't even know they were on the border. My mom, for example, did not know that I was on the border. My father only knew. Some people have the same thing. There's going to be such a global upheaval purely because if all parents rise this issue and find out how many boys are dead. The conscripts specifically is gonna be crazy, especially from our battalion. From our battalion, yes, our battalion suffered the most, the 17th. Well, because we were in front of the others. Most of it, 60% are probably dead. Yeah, conscripts. The news also said that the 17th battalion was missing altogether, just immediately. In a day? Yeah, a day later it was on the news that the 17th battalion was missing in action. All of it. It was probably on August 6. When we were leaving, we caught the connection and saw it. I said the Russian Defense Ministry had repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops, and at the moment, literally 100 meters away from us, a Ukrainian IFV was driving around. It wasn't driving around, it was coming in. For half an hour there was a convoy coming in, and that convoy was in front of us. For half an hour it's been driving, and we were like, yeah, but you didn't react to it? For what reasons in general? Did you have any equipment, ammunition, any weaponry to repel such breakthroughs or attacks from outside? Such like, no. None of those. Like if an SRG came in, or infantry exactly, just infantry. Someone else could have done something, but then again, we're conscripts, we have no training, and we've got paratroopers coming in. There's a difference in that respect too. And then there's the equipment. I've talked to people, other reinforcement troops, who tried to shoot at the equipment with RPGs and something else. With TOWs. With TOWs, yeah, so the Cossack was hit by RPGs, and the shell just went upwards. Well, the mercenaries basically okay. If it wasn't for the machinery, we could have done a lot of things. The artillery worked well, honestly. Artillery and drones, I mean, they were hitting us first. They were hitting us all the time, for 12 hours. For 12 hours the artillery worked on us non-stop. We thought that we would be buried right here. If we talk about help, we were told, guys, hold on, they're coming for you. Everyone was told that. And they came for us, but from another side. Yeah, from another side, Ukrainian forces. And then they told us the reserve can't come because it's mined. We were like, where should we go? Ultimately, we went to the backup point, which was like an evacuation spot. An IFV with people was leaving. This IFV is a tank, and it was leaving with people. We came there at 4 a.m. and they said, sorry guys, we can't take you away. And they left. That was it. They never came back. We left on foot afterward. And just to get the details of your withdrawal, how long did it last? How long were you out there in the fields? On the 5th of August we left, and on the 9th we were captured. For 4 days we went without food, without water, so we could find an apple tree somewhere, eat an apple and continue going. Slept for a few hours? Yeah, just a few hours of sleep. Didn't sleep at all? And in the woods near the river we slept on the ground next to the swamp, all wet. Then we entered the house, because it couldn't have gone any further. There was water there, some water, food. We had a snack, slept and ate. We entered it in the morning. Whose house was that? Just an open house. All the houses were stormed and they were all open. Yeah, people left and we just went there. Well, because there were no other options. We got a command from our platoon leader. Damn, we got to go in. Well, because that was not further possible. We had some people who were just morally done and couldn't take it. You know, people who were soft-spirited. Lack of sleep and all of that. They suffered from a lack of sleep. Malnourishment, dehydration, all that stuff. It affected them a lot. On top of that, we had one wounded man. Tell us how you were taken prisoner. Actually, I will repeat it. In Russia, they talk about things that are very scary. There are all sorts of people cutting off limbs, raping and things like that. There is a lot of talk about it, so that people don't surrender. Have you experienced anything like that? No, I mean when we were taken. First of all, it was pointless for us to do anything. We were surrounded by a platoon. There were 25 men when we got out. We were shocked by that. We were at the house at that moment, and if we tried to fight, they were ready to throw grenades at us. That's what we heard, and they started storming the house, so there was no point in fighting or anything like that. We decided that we should surrender after all, either death or surrender. And all the boys are young, so we surrendered. They got us hydrated, fed us, gave us a smoke. They treated us like human beings, not as an enemy, but just as a human being. They realized that today we're in this place, tomorrow they could be there, you never know. Yeah, they just have an understanding that we're all human. Humanity should always be there, in every situation. If it is a war or not a war, humanity must always be there. I don't need this war, neither do all the boys sitting here. Just like the people who live over there, the people we came here with. Nobody needs this war, it's just a formality for them, but for us it's death.